Bonjour people, welcome back to another review. This time we're looking at the Revenge of the Fallen Skywarp. He is a Voyager class figure and he is a retool of the first movie, I want to say Allspark Powers Thundercracker, who is a repaint of... I'm probably using my terminology wrong. He's a repaint slash retool of the G1 Colors Starscream, who's a retool slash remold of the original Voyager class Starscream. That's a lot, isn't it? that's a lot. And this is not the only version of this figure I have. Skywarp over here was an ASDA exclusive. So in America, he was a Walmart exclusive. ASDA over here is our version of Walmart. Ramjet was also an exclusive to the same store, and I will be comparing them in a little while. I think Skywarp is most people's favourite Seeker after Starscream just because of black and purple. It's beautiful. He looks gorgeous. He is painted brilliantly. A mainly black body with purple highlights and silver highlights with a deep red cockpit, which you can actually see into. You won't be able to from this camera, but believe me that you can. On the underside, it is a bit kibbly. I mean, you've got these massive missile launchers here, and then, how many all these are. And as representations of F-22s go, it's not particularly brilliant because of just this mass that's underneath. If you eliminated all of that and had a top-down view, then he might look decent, but he's full of panel lines, and all of this just doesn't make for a very appealing F-22 fighter. Now, Skywarp came with an assortment of missiles that can be plugged into what will eventually become his, quote, hands, and I thought they plugged in a bit further, but apparently they stick out about that far, and they are slightly spring-loaded, I believe. And the whole gimmick behind this was you can see the black tab here. As this would spin round while connected to these tyres here, it would slap these little purple bits here and cause the missiles to fire. So if we roll him forward, in theory, I say in theory, well, there was one. Oh, there we go. It doesn't quite work very well just because he doesn't sit entirely flush. And now for a size comparison, here are two versions of essentially the same character side by side, and it's an old versus new situation. You can see how things have changed over the years. With all of that out of the way, let us get down to the transformation sequence. Now for Skywarp, first things that you particularly want to do, unplug these arms and just bring them all the way down to create that weird contraption. Next of all, flip him over and unplug the legs from the underside like that, and then bring these things a bit outwards. Let's come to the top here and let's just pull that bit back and then try and coax that bit up just like that. Come back to the back and we are going to attempt to maneuver all of this around into the correct formation at this point. So take these bits and just fold them like that, and then put them at a bit of an odd angle. Unfortunately, because of the way that the automorph works, you're very likely to hit these and cause them to go flying off. It's kind of unavoidable. Come to the back and flip that bit back. Usually you have his head turned around, but just for the sake of this I didn't. Unclip the wings from there. Now what you're meant to do is you're meant to take this and drag it up. Again, that works to varying degrees of success, so I like to activate the automorph with the wings here, and spreading them out like that will cause all of this to move up. And now this is what I'm talking about. Things are getting stuck up here. So I'm going to take them off immediately. So yes, what you're meant to do is bring all of this out like that until you get his iconic triangular shape. Just keep that up like that, and you can pull these little bits apart to create a bit more of a detailed image. We are going to come to the back here. I'm not necessarily doing all of this in the right order, but we will end up with the same final product. Open these up, pull them out, flip them back, and then come here, open those bits to complete putting them in. You can close that leg up, make sure it's all out to the side. On this one, pull that back, then somehow open this. Open it like that, pull that out, fold it back, close that chamber up, locking the leg in, keep that folded out, and then we can push that back. We're going to chicken leg him. Go ahead and bring these flat against his back and close them up by pushing them flush. Take these, and it's kind of personal preference what we do with these at this point, but I like to have them like that. And then we're going to go and reattach these onto his shoulders. Again, just due to the nature of the transformation, it's highly likely you're going to knock them off when doing his chest automorph. And even trying to do this on camera is proving to be exceedingly difficult. Therefore, I just thought it'd be easier just to take them off soonish and then put them on after you're done. Final thing you really want to be doing is taking his shoulders and just moving them up at that angle there and folding everything back down. And again on this side, putting it at that angle, making sure everything is flat back like that. And then what you can also do, if you really want to, you can flare these black bits out like that. And there we have Skywarp in his robot mode. Obviously, it's not the best looking representation of the Starscream movie design. His successors in later years are all basically 1,000 times better than this. Even the Revenge of the Fallen Voyager class, which at the time I actually preferred to have this one, but I think I preferred to have this one because of all the Seeker repaints, and I was a bit of a Seeker collector back in the day. And the Revenge of the Fallen one didn't offer any other variation. In retrospect, the Revenge of the Fallen Starscream is the better figure, and of course the Studio series absolutely demolishes this one, but there is still a certain charm about this original mold. From a certain point of view, it looks rather nice. I mean, it does give the classic triangular shape that Starscream has in the films, but all of the repaints I think are a lot better than the original version of the figure. And of course, in the first movie, Starscream didn't have the tattoos either. He was very bare bones and beige. So naturally, the G1 Colours version and the Thundercracker and the Skywarp, they would all be 1 billion times more popular. And you can certainly see why, because Skywarp looks beautiful. In person, the purple is nice and royal and stunning, coupled with the black, coupled with the silver highlights, and coupled with the red that comes out on the chest after you do the automorph. It's lovely. Skywarp just has a sense of style about him. And he also likes to face plant. But then again, Skywarp is notorious for pushing people downstairs, isn't he? If we come back to the back here, there isn't a hell of a lot of kibble, surprisingly, for a 2007 figure. You've got the wings on his back here, but that's kind of accurate. And then, yes, you've got the nose kind of sticking out of there, but really, that's it. A lot of it does go to his shoulders, unfortunately. We've got those bits again, which you can't really see, but you've got those bits which like to fly off at any given opportunity. Then you've got these bits. I don't know how other people like to orientate them. This is just my personal preference. Again, some people might do that. Some people, I don't know how people do it, but that's the way I like to do it, personally. And that's a really nice G1 looking head sculpt that Skywarp has. It's exactly the same as the one that Thundercracker had beforehand. It does have quite a bit of detail, but it also has some light piping, which we can show off right here, and that is beautiful. Look at that. In terms of articulation, he is a little bit hampered because of the way that the design is. They hadn't quite perfected this version of the Starscream mold yet, but he can look right and left. He could theoretically do 360 at the head. I'm not going to attempt it though because of all of this garbage that surrounds him. His arms can go all the way around at the quote shoulders. You've got a 360 rotation there. You have a good 90-degree bend at the elbow, or what surmounts as the elbow. You've got nothing at the waist, why would you, with this? He can kick up that far, which isn't really a kick at all, and then he can go back that far, so basically barely anything at the hip. He has a 360 rotation at the knee. He's got all of these double joints, well, he's got all of these ratchet joints down the bottom to accommodate the chicken leg, and then at the toes he can move them up and down, and that is mainly for transformation purposes. For a size comparison then, here's Thundercracker and Skywarp together. I know which is the better figure in this case. I'll give you a clue. Here's Skywarp next to Acid Storm, who represents the classic Seeker mold. And here's Skywarp is next to his wavemate and fellow exclusive, Ramjet, who is just a straight up repaint of the original Starscream. As you can see, they are practically identical, the exact same bodies, but different paint jobs, obviously, because one is meant to be a cone head and one is not. And they have different head sculpts as well. Again, Ramjet is a direct repaint of the original Starscream, and Skywarp is a repaint of the G1 Classics Starscream version, who has a different head. So there we are then. There is the exclusive Skywarp, who is really difficult to get, and was difficult to get anyway back in the past. Would I recommend him? For playability, probably not. Because, again, any other version of Starscream or his Seeker comrades that have come out since this guy are 1,000 billion times superior. But get this guy if you're a Skywarp collector by any means. And just if you want a good display piece, because he does look really nice. And that was the big appeal about those two ASDA/Walmart exclusives. They look beautiful. And of the original Starscream 07 mold, I would say that this guy probably is the best of the bunch. But that's mainly due to Skywarp's colour palette, isn't it really? So that's Skywarp. Thank you everybody so much for stopping by and checking out this video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share it around to help out the channel. And until the next time, see you all later.